Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel, I hope. Everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Golden Bachelorette. Chock Chapple's desperation to show Joan Vassos Kansas proves their relationship is doomed. The Golden Bachelorette star Chock Chapple's desperation to bring Joan Vassos to his home state of Kansas proves that their relationship, which has always been a showman's, is doomed. Joan, who was the lead of the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, ended her season by choosing Chock as her final pick, then accepting his proposal. While many of Bachelor Nation's viewers struggled to see why Joan and Chock felt connected at all, Joan has been doing her best to bring viewers into their relationship and show off who Chock is. Unfortunately, her plans have been backfiring throughout the last few months. In an effort to make Chock more palatable to Bachelor Nation, the couple has been open about their relationship online after the series, sharing their highs and lows. Joan and Chock have posted a ton of content about their lives post-show, from event appearances to cooking videos and their holiday plans. While Chock has spent tons of time with Joan in her home in Maryland, it took quite a bit of time for the pair to travel to Kansas. Though he'd been excited for her to see him in his natural habitat, Joan didn't make it until the new year. After spending a ton of time with Joan in her home state of Maryland, Chock was excited to bring her back to Kansas to see how he typically lives. Joan, who has children and grandchildren in Maryland, was open to coming back to Kansas. But the pair wound up spending the holidays with her family. From Thanksgiving to Christmas, Joan and Chock did their best to get to know her home turf. But it was clear Chock wanted Joan to visit him in his space. Even leaving Joan behind in Maryland to head back to Kansas for a time, Chock made it obvious that he wanted his new fiancée to see his home, meet his friends, and get to know his space. While it's understandable that Chock wanted Joan to get to know him in that way, it was strange how urgent Chock was to get Joan back into his home state. While she finally made the leap and headed to Kansas for New Year's, things weren't as pristine as they seemed like they would be. During Joan's trip to Kansas, she was able to get to know more about Chock than she had during her quick visit during the Golden Bachelorette. Experiencing his home, daily habits, and his friends, Joan was able to see some things she didn't like about her fiancé for one of the first times. Making a video about Chock's socks, which she shared, gave her a fair bit of anxiety. Joan made it clear that she was going to have to change Chock to continue their relationship. While she may have been kidding in the video, his red flags were clear. As Joan and Chock have moved through their relationship after the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, the couple have been showing signs that their engagement is already doomed. While they may be trying to turn their showmance into a genuine romance, Joan and Chock's behavior has made it seem like they aren't actually moving all that quickly into their alleged future plans. Chock's desperation to get Joan to visit him was followed by a lackluster time together that showed more of his flaws to the Golden Bachelorette star. This could lead to a difficult end for the new Bachelor pair. The Golden Bachelorette's Chock Chapple has been a standout this season, winning over Joan Vassos with his sharp sense of humor, tender heart, and unique flair for grand romantic gestures. However, behind the twinkle in his eye and the quirky charm lies a man whose latest move might spell doom for his budding relationship with Joan. This week, viewers were treated to one of the most highly anticipated hometown dates in the show's history as Chock invited Joan to Kansas. But while Kansas is often associated with sweeping plains, Midwestern hospitality, and a wholesome charm, Chock's approach to showcasing his roots reeked of desperation rather than authenticity. And as the episode unfolded, it became increasingly clear that Chock's desire to impress Joan may have overshadowed his ability to truly connect with her. The over-the-top Kansas spectacle. From the moment Joan stepped off the plane, it was evident that Chock had gone all out to make Kansas appear larger than life. Joan was greeted by a parade. Yes, a parade. Complete with a marching band, floats emblazoned with "Welcome Joan," and local cheerleaders performing routines inspired by her golden journey. Chock, dressed as the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, danced his way through the crowd, shouting, "There's no place like Kansas, Joan." While the gesture was undoubtedly theatrical, Joan's tight-lipped smile hinted at her discomfort. It was a lot to take in, she said during a confessional. Chock has such a big personality, and I adore that about him. But sometimes I just want to see the real him, not the showman. The parade was just the beginning. Chock had planned a jam-packed day of Kansas-themed activities, each more elaborate than the last. From a tractor race at his cousin's farm to a barbecue feast where a local choir serenaded Joan with love songs, everything screamed, "Look at how amazing my life is." But amidst the spectacle, there was little room for the quiet, meaningful moments that Joan had hoped for. A missed opportunity for intimacy. One of the most poignant moments of the episode came when Joan expressed her desire to see Chock's childhood home. "I want to understand where he comes from, what shaped him into the man he is today," she said. But instead of a heartfelt tour of his family's modest farmhouse, Chock whisked Joan away to a rented ranch, complete with a staged picnic under an oak tree, champagne, and a professional photographer capturing every moment. "This isn't real," Joan whispered to herself during another confessional. "It feels like Chock is trying to sell me a dream instead of sharing his truth. I don't need the glitz and glamour. I just need him." Even Chock's family seemed out of sorts with his elaborate display. His younger brother, Hank, pulled Joan aside during the family dinner and said, "This isn't the Chock we know. He's putting on a show for you. But the real Chock is quieter, more grounded. I hope you get to see that side of him." Joan's growing doubts. As the day wore on, Joan's doubts began to surface more visibly. During a hot air balloon ride, yet another grand gesture from Chock, she finally confronted him. "Why are you trying so hard to impress me?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I don't need all of this. I just want to know you, the real you." Chock, caught off guard, struggled to articulate his feelings. "I guess I wanted to show you that I'm worthy of you," he admitted. "You're this incredible woman, Joan. And I'm just a guy from Kansas. I thought if I could make Kansas seem magical, maybe you'd see me as magical too." It was a raw and vulnerable moment, but it also highlighted a fundamental flaw in their connection. Chock's insecurity and need for validation had led him to prioritize spectacle over sincerity, leaving Joan feeling more distant than ever. A relationship on the brink. By the end of the date, Joan's reservations were clear. During her final confessional, she said, "Chock has such a beautiful heart, but I'm not sure he knows how to let me in. I don't need perfection, I just need honesty, and I'm not sure if Chock can give me that." Meanwhile, Chock seemed oblivious to the gravity of Joan's doubts. "I think the date went great," he said with a grin. "Joan got to see the best of Kansas, and I think she's falling in love with it. And maybe with me too." But as the rose ceremony looms, fans are left wondering whether Chock's over-the-top efforts have done more harm than good. Can he salvage his relationship with Joan by showing her the unpolished, authentic side of himself? Or has his desperation to impress her already sealed his fate?